In this video, I'm talking about the pros and cons of the 3 most common ways to buy hearing aids: bundled, unbundled, and hybrid. Coming up. Hi guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and I cover a bunch of hearing-related information to help make you a better informed consumer. So if you're into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to click the bell to receive a notification every time I post a new video. The answer to the question, how much do hearing aids cost, depends on a variety of different factors, including where you live and which technology level you decide to pursue. However, perhaps the biggest factor when it comes to the cost of your hearing aids is whether or not you purchase those hearing aids from a clinic that is bundled or unbundled. Now, when I say bundled, I mean that the cost of your hearing aids includes the cost of the professional care that you receive to ensure that those hearing aids are fit, programmed, and maintained properly, usually over the course of several years. When I say unbundled, I mean that the cost of your hearing aids does not include any professional care, and the cost of the hearing aid fitting, programming, and maintenance are paid for separately. Now, there are a lot of services that are required to ensure that your hearing aids have been properly selected, fit, programmed, and maintained over the lifetime of your devices. Now, you may have some preconceived notions over which care delivery model is best for you when it comes to getting your hearing aids and the services that are required to make those hearing aids work properly. But I'm going to be going over some of the pros and cons of each, so hold your opinion until the end of the video. Let's go ahead and start with the pros of the bundled model of hearing aid delivery. In most cases with a bundled model, there is only one charge that you will pay for that will include the cost of the hearing aids, the programming of those hearing aids, and all of your future visits to maintain those devices. This gives you the peace of mind that there's not going to be any future charges for the additional services that you require from your hearing care professional. While there may be a timeline on how long you can receive those services, any visit inside of that window will be covered under your initial hearing aid purchase. So if you're someone who knows that you're going to need a lot of long-term follow-up care from your hearing care professional, then bundling the cost of these services in with the initial cost of your hearing aids can make a lot of sense. Okay, so the bundled model seems great, but there are a few cons when it comes to this type of hearing aid delivery. For instance, bundled hearing aids and services can increase the initial costs that you will have to pay for your hearing aids. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of money or can't afford that initial bundled cost, then this may not be the best option for you. When you go bundled, you have to ensure that your hearing care professional does not cut corners on the quality of your future follow-up visits, since they already have your money from the initial hearing aid purchase. In a bundled model, services are also not typically itemized, which means that you may not understand which services they're actually providing you and whether or not the initial bundled cost of your hearing aids and services was actually worth it. Not to mention, if you know that you do not require a lot of professional follow-up care, then it does not make sense to go bundled because you will be paying for services that you never actually receive. Okay, so those are the pros and cons of the bundled model of hearing aid delivery, where the cost of the hearing aids and the services are both together in the initial price of what you pay. But let's switch gears now to talk about the pros of the unbundled model of hearing aid delivery. Just to remind you, when you buy hearing aids from an unbundled clinic, you are paying separately for the hearing aids, the fitting, and all of the follow-up care that you receive from that clinic. Due to this, purchasing hearing aids from an unbundled clinic can usually reduce the initial upfront cost of your hearing aid treatment. If you have limited funds, you can instead invest that money in a better set of hearing aids instead of prepaying for a bunch of services that you will not receive for months or years down the road. When you receive services from an unbundled clinic, they typically itemize everything for you, so it increases the transparency because you know exactly what you're getting and how much each of those services cost. This also motivates your hearing care provider to justify the value of each service they're providing you, so you not only have an understanding of what they're doing, but why they're doing it. Not to mention, in an unbundled clinic, your hearing care provider is less likely to cut corners because they know that unless they perform those services, they're not going to be compensated. Wow, the unbundled model seems great, right? Well, there are a few cons that are associated with the unbundled model of hearing aid delivery. Namely, if you know that you're going to need a lot of care down the road, it may cost you a lot more money because every time you go in for care, you're going to have to pay more money. If you're the type of person who hates to pay your hearing care provider every single time you go in to see them, then there is a chance that you may start to avoid your future follow-up visits, even if those follow-up visits are beneficial. If you do not understand the value of proper follow-up care, you may also not feel inclined to go in for future follow-up visits, which are necessary to maintain a high level of hearing aid performance. There is also the potential of a unique situation that could arise with the unbundled model of care delivery, which is when your hearing care provider knows that they should be doing a particular service for you, but you actually refuse to have that service done, which can reduce your performance with hearing aids. Now, given the pros and cons of the bundled and unbundled model of hearing care delivery, you may feel inclined to go one way or the other. However, there is one more care delivery model that is actually a combination of the two that's called the hybrid model. The hybrid model usually gives you the option of purchasing your hearing aids separate from the fitting sequence and a service plan. This way you clearly understand exactly how much you're paying for those hearing aids and all of the other services that you need. If you either can't afford or don't need a lot of follow-up care, then you can elect to pay as you go instead of purchasing a service plan. However, if you do know that you're going to be needing a lot of follow-up care in the future, you can go ahead and purchase yourself a service plan to save you money down the road. Just like the unbundled model, the hybrid model typically requires you to purchase certain services during your fitting sequence. For instance, if you say, you know what, I don't want reeler measurement, they're not going to let you do that because they know that reeler measurement is required for you to receive the full amount of benefit with your hearing aids. Some hybrid clinics may require you to go with an initial service plan right out of the gate, but they should be giving you the option eventually to go fee for service down the road. When it comes to hybrid models, I really have a difficult time trying to identify any cons of them because they are so customizable based on any individual patient's needs. When starting your hearing loss treatment journey, you really have to identify which care delivery model makes most sense for you based on your specific circumstances. All that being said, the thing that I think that's even more important is whether or not your hearing care professional follows best practices. Because if they do not follow best practices, it is almost irrelevant whether or not they are bundled, unbundled, or hybrid. Now, if you are unfamiliar with what best practices are, I highly recommend that you check out my video that I will link in the description. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please share it. And if you want to see other videos just like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, feel free to check out my website, drcliffAUD.com.